Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so, along with hitting that thumbs up button for me and dropping your comments. Love the comments, especially when it comes to trade rumors. We're in that season right now. The Knicks got a jump start on it, making that big trade for OG Anunoby, and basically satisfying a big need that was needed on this team, having a big defensive wing, and he has been outstanding since he's come to the Knicks defensively. Offensively, I think he's getting a lot of credit for stuff that is more, in my opinion, attached to what all the other players have been doing, along with defensively. I think it was a major wake-up call that was sent from the Knicks front office, and it woke everybody up, because there's no way that OG Anunoby is the sole reason why these Knicks have gone off to a 4-0 win streak since it began. So trades can have a really positive impact, and Leon has made, I would say this is the third out of fourth acquisition trade or whatever in his era that has had a tremendous impact. The first one being the Derrick Rose trade. The second one being the Cam Reddish trade, which did not have an impact, and then it was it culminated in the Josh Hart trade, which did have a tremendous impact last season. We went on a 9-game winning streak, and now OG Anunoby. So 3 out of 4, and you can almost count the Cam one as part of the Josh Hart one, because it was a good use of an asset to bring in a player that was more impactful for a Tom Thibodeau type team. So we're going to go down, basically just look at all the rumors, not all of them, but the players that are in play. And we're going to see we're going to weigh the options and see what's the best way for the Knicks to go. And we'll discuss what is most likely what the Knicks will do. So let's get into it. Here we go. This was Hoops Wire picked this up. Sam Amico. It was an article. You guys should definitely check it out. That covers all the Knicks rumors, and quotes Tim Bontemps, and it says here, Knicks exploring options for another potential trade. It appears the Knicks aren't done making moves, or at least trying to make another big trade. And then here, as Bontemps wrote, the Knicks are more likely to dangle draft picks in an effort to land another starter type, if not an all-star. Okay, so this is interesting. They recently have been linked to Hawks guard Dejounte Murray, who is said to be available. So Dejounte is one we're going to talk about. But as one rival GM told Hoops Wire, Murray may not really move the needle much, given how poorly Atlanta has done since he landed there. Well, we'll get into that. I'm not so sure you can blame him for that. More so the fit with Trae Young. But we'll look into it. One thing that I do want to because I'm going to talk about Donovan, because despite with Big Nick Energy tweeted this out. He picked it up from Mark Klein, his newsletter, which really he's an insider for sure in the NBA. It is rumored that the Knicks do not consider Donovan Mitchell as their targeted star player. Whoa. To support this theory, Mark Klein reported, initial indications are that the Knicks do not intend to mount an all-out pursuit of Donovan Mitchell. Okay. Now, that may not be necessarily correct. Just because they're not going to mount an all-out pursuit doesn't mean that he's still not their targeted star player. I don't know why those two things got combined. Doesn't necessarily mean it. It could mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It could also mean they might be in a wait-and-see mode. They might feel so confident. Remember, through back channels, they might feel so confident that they will eventually land Donovan Mitchell. May not be this year, and may not be this offseason, and may be the following offseason, but maybe they feel that confident about it. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Now let's look at the 4 players that seem to be popping up the most recently. Here they are. It is Donovan Mitchell, Dejounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, and Malcolm Brogdon. Okay, so of course there's pluses and minuses. These are it's a wide array of players here, very different types of players, but these are the ones that have been rumored. The question I have is, does adding any of these guys make a difference for bolstering a playoff run this season. Look what happened last night. And I hate to point it out because it sucks that it's such a part of the game, but injuries are a part of the game. Last night, John Morant went down, or was it last night or the night before? Whatever. He's out for the rest of the season. So he didn't play the first 25 games because he's an idiot. And then he finally gets back on the court and he gets hurt. So now he's gone. Memphis, they didn't have much of a chance of getting to the play-in was the best thing they could have hoped for. But, with him on the court, they were definitely looking much better than they were before. So this is something to address. And then what else happened? Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton, injured. Don't have the details on his injury right now, but I know he's injured. He could miss at least a couple of weeks. It could be more. I think he did. I think I heard that he avoided any serious injury, which is good, but still he's going to miss 2 weeks. And, sometimes you pick up a little injury like that and then it comes back later. So teams are vulnerable to injuries impacting their performance on the court severely. That is just the reality of the NBA. We've seen it year in, year out, and it might continue to happen, and that's why the Knicks should try to fortify themselves for the opportunity that they get the right kind of matchup in those first rounds in the playoff, and possibly, for the first time in a very, very long time, they might get to the Eastern Conference Finals to battle either the Boston Celtics, most likely, or the Bucks and Sixers, or another surprise team. Maybe Tyrese comes back and he's fine, and then those Pacers go on a crazy run like they did in the in-season tournament, and it's the Pacers and Knicks in the Eastern Conference. Anything can happen in the NBA Finals lately. We've seen that. There were years where there were just such dominant teams, there was just no chance for anybody. The oxygen was so thin up at the top that there wasn't enough for more than one or two teams. That's not the case this season. The Bucks are showing they're vulnerable. The Celtics do look like an outstanding team, and if they stay healthy, it's going to be tough to beat them. But then again, it comes to matchups. Matchups in playoff series are very, very key. And the way that the Knicks are now they have a guy, OG Anunoby, who I keep flipping those two. It's annoying. Anunoby, who can match up beautifully against Tatum. He can definitely earn some minutes against Giannis. So he can be he's an instrumental piece for the Knicks to be able to stifle the other team's best offensive player. He's basically a larger, kind of like what Grimes had been doing last season, where he guarded the top players. He was the one who guarded. He had the most minutes logged against the top players in the NBA. OG Anunoby can be that kind of guy, a larger version of him, and he is actually. The stats show it. So the Knicks are in a good position. So it's a matter of who here can really kind of cement this team so that they can go on a deep run. Not thinking about next year, not thinking about anything else, because any of these guys you acquire, you can deal with them. Not them, but you can trade them if it doesn't work out, trade somebody else to clear up salary space. There's a lot of different things you can do. But if we look at this right now, Donovan Mitchell, he's averaging 27 points right now. He's 9th in the NBA. He's got 5.3 rebounds and 5.7 assists, which is nice. He's picked up his assists, especially since Darius Garland has gone down. He's shooting 45% overall. And from the three-point line, not sure what he's shooting right now. I'll look it up. But now we got Dejounte Murray. Dejounte Murray's up almost 21 points a game. 4.6 rebounds, 5 assists, even less assists than Donovan Mitchell. But he plays side by side with Trae Young, who I think is leading the league in assists, or is up there. I think he's averaging still 10 or 11 or whatever. And then below, those two guys are, I think, big impact players for the Knicks. They're more of that, even though Donovan is an all-star, definitely. He probably will be an all-star again this season. Dejounte has been an all-star once, but not since he came to Atlanta. But he is that all-star type kind of guy who can really move the needle. What would it cost to bring a Dejounte Murray? Well, maybe for salary matching, like an Evan Fournier, and at least 2 first-round picks, at least, and maybe one other player. And maybe it's Grimes is the other player. Not sure. We are going to have to consolidate somewhat because you're bringing Dejounte and he's going to take someone's minutes, and he'll start. He'll start next to Brunson. Good size, 6'5". In the past, he has been a good defender. Though of late, not so much. Again, your defensive numbers are somewhat impacted by who you're playing with on the court. And Trae Young is, we know him. He's beyond a traffic cone. So he's almost just like I don't want to insult him, but he's just beyond a traffic cone. So I like him as a fit for the Knicks. I like him. The only thing is, I worry that he's going to need the ball in his hands a lot more than a Dante does or a Grimes does. But the positives are, once the ball is in his hands, he's very capable with it. He could be that other playmaker that we need now that we're missing IQ. He kind of helps satisfy the dual need to upgrade the overall roster to bolster for the playoff run, and he can also address missing IQ in that second unit, because he can help run that second unit. He gets subbed out earlier in the first quarter, and he comes back in with that second unit, and he runs it while Brunson takes a rest. That is what really works for me there. You can say almost the same exact things about Donovan Mitchell, except he's a much more high-octane scorer, and we've already seen it in the playoffs. He's had some amazing runs, especially in the bubble season. I think he averaged like 45 or something, 45 points or something crazy in the playoffs. He delivers in the playoffs. Dejounte, we haven't seen it. He hasn't had much opportunity to do it. I think it was 1 year he was in the playoffs with San Antonio. So it's hard to judge if he can be if he can deliver when the spotlight is right there intensely shining on your face. Then it comes down to DeMar DeRozan and Malcolm Brogdon. But before I get to that, I'm going to shout out to the chat. I see Lex of the Destroyers in the house. Thank you so much for holding it down, brother. Best mod around. Stanley Mann, what's up? Big Task. KD, what's up? B. Willis, D. Nice. All right, we got a great crowd in here. Hey, hit the thumbs up button for me, guys, if you can. And again, later, if you're watching this later, drop your comments. Definitely love the comments. And share this video. Salute, Sincere to Genius. Connor Tulin, what's up, brother? Yes, 5-game win streak coming up. I feel really good about tonight's game. And we're going to see actually Malcolm Brogdon, which we're going to talk about pretty soon. So let's talk about Malcolm right now. We'll finish with DeMar. We'll go in a weird clockwise directions. Malcolm Brogdon, again, good size, 6'4", but plays bigger. 229. Excellent handle. He was the sixth man of the year. Good defender. Right now, off the bench for the Trailblazers. I believe he is coming off the bench for the Trailblazers. He's averaging 15.4 points per game. 3.5 rebounds, 5.4 assists, which is a nice number for someone off the bench. Field goal percentage, 38.8%. That's not, not going to make me crazy, but I believe his three-point shooting is much better. Let's see here. The three-point shooting for Brogdon, oh, yeah, he's at 41.3%. Nice. 41.3%. That is excellent. Loving that. I'm just pulling up some other numbers here. Yeah, that's beautiful. Go back to this here. Let's see what else. So he's averaging, inside the arc, he's at 45.6%. But his free throw shooting, 77%. His true shooting is at 55.6%, which is actually lower than Dejounte Murray's true shooting. He's at 56.2%, but both with very good numbers, both good numbers. Dejounte Murray, I think, is at a career high right now in three-point shooting. He's averaging 38.4%, which is a really nice number, especially when you consider that he has, actually, when he was a rookie, in his 38 games as a rookie, he averaged 39.1%. But since then, it dropped to 26%, to 37%, to 31%, 32%. Then when he went to Atlanta, eked up a little bit to 34.4%, but that was the first year. But this year, he's at 38.4%. That's a very good number. And he's at 6 three-point attempts per game. So it's a decent volume for him. So he's having a good year from the three-point line. Very good year from the three-point line. Let's go back to DeMar. DeMar, however, even though he is actually at 34.4% from the three-point line, he only puts up 2.7 attempts per game. Okay, I'm going to straight right out right now that from my point of view, I think DeMar DeRozan is not the right fit for this team. Especially in lieu of the whole spacing issue. I mean, everyone's been telling me, oh, there's so much spacing now with OG on the court. Honestly, I don't see it offensively. I don't. I watch the game. I see there's the same amount of people, same amount of opponents in the paint when Randall drives, all that stuff. The way the players are approaching the offense is what's different now. And, and that could be the OG factor, and that's great. But spacing will definitely disappear if you add a DeMar DeRozan who shoots inside the arc at an unhealthy clip. Very unhealthy clip. In fact, let's get the splits up here. We're just even going to look at this season. Not even going to look at other seasons in the past. Let's see. Those are the wrong splits. Here, this is the one, the shooting ones. Oh, no. Sorry about that. But DeMar, now, even though great size, 6'6", I love him as a player. He's older right now. He's going to turn 35 soon. I don't know. I just don't see how he fits on this team right now. He's shooting. Oh man, from 16 feet to the 3-point line, he's put up 154 attempts. Those are all wasted shot attempts. Those are counterproductive shot attempts. Those are negative expectation reward shot attempts. It's not the way actually that Thibodeau even wants to play. And at the rim, he's doing well. 101 attempts. He's finished 74 times, 73.3%. That's a nice number. But three-point line, only 96 three-point attempts overall. He doesn't fit. And as you saw when OG was able to beat DeMar to the spots that he was trying to get to, he didn't even put up a shot attempt. So, his efficiency may be there, but it's because he only shoots the shots that he feels he can really make, which is a great thing to do. But when an opponent can shut them down, can stifle them, can take away the areas that they want to feast in, then he loses tremendous value. I don't think he's the right fit for us. So really, it comes down, and Donovan Mitchell, since it's been rumored that they're not going to go all out pursuit, but that could just be posturing, I'm still leaving him up here because I got a feeling that Leon, if the right situation presents itself, he will throw all the picks he can to land the big star. We already discussed Karl Anthony Towns. In the past, we've discussed Zion. We've discussed Donovan Mitchell in the past, but he keeps hanging around. The rumors keep persisting. But right now, at the moment, the top two guys that it looks like the Knicks most likely can acquire are Dejounte Murray and Malcolm Brogdon. So the question becomes, who is the right fit for improving the Knicks' chances to have a deeper playoff run? In a lot of ways, you can't lose. You can't lose by adding either one of these two guys. They're both high upside players, high IQ players, great length, good defenders. They're known to be good defenders. They're consistent. Both of them are consistent. You really can't go wrong. So it comes down to the price. Is 2 first rounders and Quentin Grimes plus Evan Fournier for salary matching, is that too big? Is that too much? Is that even enough? Like, Atlanta might want a little more. So then it starts becoming like, well, we're really kind of beginning to mortgage our ability to land that big star that might present themselves in the off season. So that's the risk there. Then when it comes to Malcolm Brogdon, he has some salary issues. Actually, let me look at that part up as well. Malcolm's, I think he is on contract for one more season. In fact, actually, I don't think that's a negative. I take that back. I don't believe that that's a negative. Because if the Knicks are going to do that big star trade, if they can't pull it off before February 8th, then they might go to, they might need some assets for a big star trade in the offseason. So right now, he signed a 2-year, $45 million contract. He's in the first year of that. He's 31 years old right now. That's the one thing. Age is a little bit of an issue. But I look at him as acquiring an asset that could bolster your playoff run, totally answer the need for a IQ replacement. I mean, he actually is the sixth man of the year. He has a different type of game as IQ. He's not as electrifying, but he's very, very consistent. He can have some big games on his own, and he can run an offense. So he can definitely satisfy that second point guard need that we have, just the way Dejounte can as well. But Malcolm already is coming off the bench. Dejounte won't come off the bench. So you have to manage it in a certain way. Okay, so Malcolm next season will make $22.5 million. And that is percentage of league cap. It'll be 15.85. All right, that's not a bad contract. It's not a bad contract for a player of his caliber. And you can definitely move him in the offseason if you need to, with a whole full season under his belt. It signed for a whole full season. Now, when it comes, let's see Dejounte's contract. Dejounte has a great contract. That's the thing about him. Dejounte Murray. He has a great value contract, and he's in the last season of it. He's making only $17.7 million, so he will need to be extended. Actually, no, he did. He signed a new contract. He signed a 4-year, $114 million contract. His other contract hadn't ended yet. That's what it is. So when he turns 28 next season, he'll be making 24.7, almost $25 million. Then the next season, he makes about $27 million, then $29 million, and then $31 million. He has a player option. So he's on for 4 more years. That's a good value contract. Right there. That's a very good value contract for a player his age. So he'll be in the later part of his prime, 30 and 31, where Malcolm is already there now. Well, that's why you give up the assets you give up. So for Malcolm, it would probably cost 1 first-round pick and a player to match, which would probably be Evan Fournier for salaries, and then maybe an additional player or two to match the salaries. I think Fournier is at... what is Fournier at? 19 million? Let me see here. Yeah, Fournier is exactly at he's at 18.8 this season, and there's a club option for 19 million for next season. So whichever team that they, let's say the Portland Trailblazers, they may choose to exercise the club option and use him as a trade asset. Probably not. They'll probably just decline it, and they'll just be happy with picking up an additional first round pick for Malcolm Brogdon. And they're in the rebuilding stage anyway, so that kind of makes sense. So all in all, to kind of begin to wrap this up, in summation, to me, it looks like Malcolm Brogdon is the best option for the New York Knicks at the moment. When you look at this, the players that the Knicks have been rumored to be interested in or attached to in any way, shape, or form, Malcolm, because he would have the lowest cost in terms of assets, and he would probably this year for this playoff run have just as big an impact as a Dejounte Murray would in the playoff run. Also, just based on the fact that he's had that experience in the playoffs. Malcolm, he knows what that intensity is like. Dejounte is unproven in that realm, so we're not sure what he can give us. We know what Donovan can give us, and obviously we know what DeMar can give us. But I've already, nixed him as part of it. So, in my opinion, Malcolm Brogdon is the best option for the Knicks to add to this current roster before the trade deadline. Now, hopefully, he has a nice game today, and Leon just pulls the trigger and we make this happen. If Knicks keep waiting and waiting longer and longer, it might mean that they are hearing rumors about some big names, and they're waiting to see who becomes available. All right. Vote, please. Vote. In fact, I probably have to vote at halftime because every 24 hours, you can only vote once every 24 hours. But please vote for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, our Knicks. Let's support them. Jalen Brunson won Player of the Week, so he definitely deserves. They both deserve our support. They are balling out right now. Love what they're doing for these Knicks. For us, it's just been fantastic. So let's just and people have been talking about, you know what? I got a feeling Randle looks different this year, and there was a great article in The Athletic by Fred Katz about Randle and what he did in the offseason right after he got his ankle surgery. I'll talk more about that in the recap itself. Just, check it out. Stay tuned to the channel. Turn on a notification bell because I'm going to be dropping a lot of videos soon. Don't want you guys to miss any of them. And again, hit the thumbs up button for me. Drop your comments and share the video. And shout out to the chat. We got everybody here. Big Task thinks it's Dejounte. That's his guy. Cool. Like I said, it's not a lose or win. It's a win-win situation. It's just a matter of what gives the team more flexibility moving forward too. On top of that, so I think Malcolm gives us more flexibility at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, vote every day. Lexa Destroyer, smash that button. Thank you, brother, so much for holding it down. El Cid says, scary times. Don't want us to make a stupid trade, but have to dump Fournier. Absolutely. We're not going to make a stupid trade. We're definitely not going to make a stupid trade. If we used Fournier to bring in Brogdon, that is not a stupid trade. That's a very, very good trade. So just, don't worry about that particular situation. Thanks, Thrifty by Nature. Yeah, he was extended. I didn't see that. In Sport Track, the way they list it, it's odd. It's like the new contract is way down low. So, age and injury, yeah. That's the one thing. Brogdon is injury prone, absolutely. But look, we're just looking at someone as a rental through the end of the season. And if you heard what Woj was saying on ESPN, he was basically intimating exactly a Malcolm Brogdon type of player, that the Knicks are willing to spend a little more money for a player that's on a bigger contract if it's just for the remainder of this season. So that's how I look at it that way. But I do think that is one concern, that he is injury prone, which is also why, for example, in a way, it's a better risk because Dejounte Murray has had injury issues in the past, though he's been okay recently. Actually, let me look up his. Let's see. Yeah. Last year he played 74 games. Year before he played 68 games. Year before that, 67 games, but that was the short season. And the year before that, he played 66 games. He's missed a lot of games. But he hasn't missed any games as an Atlanta Hawk. Actually, that's not true. He did miss 8 games as a Hawk last season, but that's not too bad. So can't hold that against him. All right, guys. Well, thank you again so much for watching this. As you can see, the Knicks continue to explore options for potential trade. We'll be keeping our eyes on it, no doubt. Let's see. Hopefully, by the end of this week, something else has happened. I like doing earlier trades. I do. It helps the players get used to each other. You pick up wins earlier. Look what's happened, 4-0 since OG came to this team. So I prefer it. Let's hope. Let's hope by the weekend we have our next addition or additions. You never know. It could be a couple of players. It could be interesting. There's been talk about Tyus Jones. Players like that, which he's a good player, quality player, though I would definitely take Brogdon over Tyus Jones at the moment, even with his injury history. Okay, thank you guys for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button for me, and I will see you around the Knicks-Verse. And let's go 5-0. 5-0. Let's go.